people, I need
Mhm.
to shut up and not say what I think.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes, like, we tend to be like too talkative, over talkative, and just remain silent and listen to others. Good idea. Okay. You know yourself better. And in the meantime, we have some answers in our chat. Okay. So about being more patient. Yeah. Okay. And the long one. Okay. Let me just read it. So, like, listening more to the other person because it feels that you're paying attention. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's more or less like similar to what Agnieszka in a moment said. So that sometimes it is about actually listening and not saying anything. Well, listening is a very important skill and a difficult one to master actually because it's all about active listening rather than just perceiving the noise or something. Active listening actually means sometimes repeating or paraphrasing, listening more and talking less. Okay, that's sort of repeated here in what you're saying. Good to point that and good to be aware that sometimes we tend to be over talkative, which means that others do not have an opportunity to say something. Okay, we've got more ideas in chat from Monica about asking open-ended questions, encouraging to think. Yeah, there is a huge difference between asking a question, would you like to go to this restaurant or that one? And where would you like to go today? Or what would you like to do? Which is an open-ended question. Nice. When I started to be more brave. Okay, that's a good point, Amelia, actually. Yeah, and it's good to be aware of what the obstacles might be and which direction to take. Nice. It is a very good starting point for what we're going to continue with. So I will send you a link to a website, but I will also share screen with you and I will show you the website. So this is just for you to have it at hand. But actually, I want you to be with me. You will see my mess. Ouch. And again, okay, I cannot get, okay, now I got rid of that. Nice. Okay, so this is the website that I would like us to focus on for a few moments today, which actually is devoted to the so-called the Big Six. The Big Six is kind of, um, as it says here, global youth mobilization. That is a group of huge youth organizations worldwide. And as you know, the name says, there are six of them, and two that you already know. So, yeah, okay, so I'm just hearing myself. So here we have the six organizations. You have their logos. The ones on the left are the ones you are already familiar with. So these are those scouting movements. Yes, WASM and WAGs. And then we have the remaining four. And I'm just curious if you have ever heard of any of them. So the four here on the right. Anything sounds familiar to you? Or any associations you might have? Okay, just to help you a little bit, I will scroll down quite quickly to show you the description. Okay, so I did it totally on purpose. Okay, so that's the big six. So to start with, you have the World YMCA and you have the World YWCA. When you see the names, I mean the full names, you see the World Alliance of Young Men's Christian Associations and obviously World Young Women's Christian Association. Sort of similar. Originally, the first one was for males and the second one was for females, but then it changed and now it's regardless of gender. Now, I'm just curious whether the name YMCA rings a bell and you associate it with anything else. When you just hear it, YMCA, what comes to your mind? I'm sure there must be something. Okay, if you're writing something in chat, I don't see it now, so you have to say it. So when you hear YMCA, what comes to your mind? Rather to your ears?
Song.
Yeah, a
A
song,
song.
sure. I hope you remember the song. Now, there is an interesting story behind the song. Actually, it was released in the year I was born, so it's very, very old. And actually, it has nothing or very little to do with the association. And actually, at first, the association didn't like the idea that the band, the Village People, released the song because the first connotations that people had with the song was that it promoted gay people, homosexuals. And perhaps it did, perhaps it didn't, but that was the perception of the community. Obviously, it was very popular and it was a huge hit. I mean, it still is. And actually, there was like a lawsuit. So, because they didn't like it, they wanted to do something about that legally, but then they agreed that perhaps the song is not that bad. And actually, when you look at the lyrics, and sorry, I didn't prepare it before, but I will just show you just the random lyrics. The song, you'll see how positive it is. Okay, accepting. Young man, there is no need to feel down. Yeah, just closing the commercials. Pick yourself off the ground because you're new in a town. There is no need to be unhappy. It's very positive, as you can see. There's a place you can go if you're short and out. Actually, it's about money. You can stay there, and I'm sure you'll find many ways to have a good time. So when you just, when you just look at the lyrics, it is very positive. But because you have this young man, and because of the associations of the people of that age, it was first believed and perceived as promoting homosexualism. Now, it's not for us, it is promoting positive attitude. But yes, good. So that is the association I was expecting. So we've got the YMCA, we've got YWCA, so like a counterpart, but originally for females. Then you have those two scouting and guiding associations. And then you have the last two. So I'm sure you know this one is the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. So it's mostly for humanitarian work and humanitarian aid. And the last one might be a bit surprising, but it's still related to education and to supporting community service. So all the six organizations make this big six. So it's a huge worldwide movement. I'm scrolling back to the top. As you can see, it was formed in 1996, so it's pretty old. And as it says here, it's an alliance of leading international youth serving organizations. Just to give you some numbers, so it actively involves or engages more than 250 million young people. And since the beginning, it contributed to the empowerment of more than 1 billion young people, and we're talking about the last century only. So it is a huge one, okay? And actually, sometime, I mean, near in the near future, I will show you a project that they have currently have actually that I mean anyone can take part in, and it's obviously a worldwide project. But to show you how much impact it has, I would like to show you a text that was released and that we have on this page, and that was related to the way young people helped during the pandemic. Okay, so let me just scroll to this text. It's here. And now what I will do is I will read it paragraph by paragraph. I will highlight the paragraph I'm reading, and your job is to listen and to note down the keywords. So you listen, I read it slowly, and you note down the keywords. Okay, then. Young people understand the potential of and have the power to do good. As the big six youth organizations worldwide, we know that when the compassion of youth is lit, it is young people who make a real difference, drive change, commit fully, work with passion, and the leadership shines. It is you volunteering, you lifting the spirits of communities, and you lighting the world with your action. We recognize that during challenging times, both as individuals and as communities, we need to take a moment and remind ourselves that it is okay not to be okay. This is a time to care for each other, but importantly, to look after ourselves, our own health, and our own well being. This period will pass, and we will come away from it stronger, a generation of responsible and resilient citizens. Heroes are born from times of adversity. The origins of many of the big six member organizations and leaders bear testimony to this. More than ever, we need to exercise deep compassion and lofty hope. As volunteers, by your nature, you are bearers of hope and compassion, willing to make your contribution to society and effecting change through moral influence. Volunteering is at the heart of community and is perhaps one of the most powerful ways to engage in the life of a community. Through volunteering, we create social connections and develop a sense of belonging, especially in times such as these. Connection is what sustains all of us, regardless of geography, age, or gender. Today, we join you in volunteering and lighting the world with compassion and action. Let us be our best selves in this time, a multi-generational global network of hundreds of millions doing good together. It's big words, but very true, and especially referring to young people. I'm just curious what keywords you were able to note down. So I will stop sharing and ask you to write your keywords in our chat. So I'm opening the chat. And oh, now I see that you wrote the song. Yeah. So write the keywords. So what do you think the key message was? Potential, power, compassion, good leadership, volunteering, care. Okay, quite a lot of them. Okay, potential and power, that is repeated, and hope and compassion, and volunteering and connection you put here. Okay, let's wait for some more ideas. Totally agree. And actually, for something to be a keyword, that it is repeated, like social connection or work or passion, and also active participation. This activity, taking agency, is very important, and potential and compassion. Well done. Okay, let me focus your attention on a few words. Yeah, and good together. Okay, and here we have these in bold. Okay, thank you, Razvan. Okay. Now, I made a list, maybe not of keywords, but of phrases, especially verb phrases that you might find useful in our subject, but in life in general. So a beautiful phrase, to light compassion, like you light a candle, okay? So to give something, to give rise to something, to start something. Then to commit fully, okay? Another beautiful phrase, to commit to something, for instance. Then you have a phrase which says to lift the spirits. The spirits meaning the morale, yes, what I have inside. And to lift is to put it higher, yes, to make it stronger. Resilient citizens. Okay, the word resilient and resilience is a very popular uh, word nowadays, so I'm just repeating it here. Okay, and I want to make sure that you know what it means. Okay, so what does it mean to be resilient? Does it mean to be strong or weak? Okay, strong in a way that you are able to face challenges and difficulties and to be, but okay, so it has like many shades of meaning. Okay, if you are resilient, it means that you are strong enough, I mean inside, to overcome the difficulties, so whatever happens to you, you can get through it. Okay, nice. Okay, so we had resilient citizens. Then the word adversity. Adversity meaning some unfavorable conditions. To bear testimony to, which means to show that something is, yes, to effect change, that is like to make changes basically, and to sustain. There was a phrase there that something will sustain all of us. It means that it will well make us live basically. Right. Okay. So these were very strong words referring to people, but to show you that it's not only the words, but it's also the actions. I will ask you to watch a short video. It's actually a link to YouTube. It's like 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, before I send you the link. So you will do it on your own, which means that I will mute myself. I will be watching on my device. You will be watching on your devices. And while watching, focus on the aspect or on the areas of support, because there will be some examples given of how young people from the big six helped worldwide during the pandemic. So what areas of support were mentioned? Like, was it, I don't know, the support, doing the shopping, or was it something else? And what strengths does it show in young people? Okay, so particular examples and areas of support. So what did the people do basically to help? And what does it say about young people that they are strong? So what are young people, what are those strengths of the young people? Areas of support and strengths of young people. Okay, and you have the link now. So we're meeting like in 4 minutes. I'm now muting myself because I want to watch it with you, obviously. Okay. I guess you should be done. Okay. Most of you have raised your hands. You can put them down now. Just click on the same icon. Nice. Nice. Okay. Good. Okay, a short video, but very powerful, showing youth participation in a very difficult period of time, that is during the pandemic in different parts of the world. So the question is, what areas were mentioned and what youth strengths were highlighted, were emphasized? Again, you can say it or you can write it. It's up to you. There were like four main points, but you can make your own if you want to. Okay, so you're writing, so let's wait.
It was like Mongolia,
Yeah, good.
Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
Colombia,
Yeah.
and then another one in Africa, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, very diverse communities. What areas of support were mentioned? Was it about doing the shopping for people? Not really. Okay, so yeah, prevention. So it was about the vaccines. Okay, so I believe you remember the time. Okay, so when we were struck with the pandemic, there was no cure for that. There was no vaccine that could help us and support us. But once they found the vaccine, then people were hesitant. Some of them didn't want to get vaccinated. We're not going to talk about whether you're in favor or against, but the point was to make this campaign to encourage people actually to get vaccinated. And what they did in this particular campaign was to use young people, actually very specific young people. Do you remember whom they invited to promote vaccination? They used the word that is now, it's an English word, but I think it's present in all languages without translation. What specific group of young people did they use? Okay, maybe it was a bit too quick. So they used influencers. They use influencers and they train them on what the vaccination is. So they taught them the contents, they learned the contents, and then they could promote vaccination. Actually, it's true, because when you want to share some knowledge with people, some trends, then when I talk about it, maybe some people will listen to me. But when it is someone who is well known and someone who is respected, definitely more people will listen to them. Okay, you also mentioned other areas of support here, like mental health and physical health, but also education, employability, and gender equality. So it showed those areas of interest, and in some areas, I mean, in some geographical areas, different types of support were necessary. So, like, for instance, the topic of gender equality, maybe it is not this strong in Europe, but it definitely is in Africa or in some Asian countries or in Southern America. But still, they were trying to work with young people and for young people at the same time. So that was just to give you a very specific example of how World Youth Organizations can come together and by doing great projects make impact and make a huge difference. Okay, what I want us to focus now is what we're going to continue with in the subject, that is working in groups and working with projects. And now I will share my screen with you once again. Yeah, so that's my landscape, but I wanted to show you this. Okay, so this is our Teams group. Yeah, and in our class materials, in our files, we have groups for projects. Oh, and I see someone changed something after I changed it. Oh, I cannot. Okay, hope that it will log me in. It does. Now I have no idea what you changed here. I hope not much. Um, okay. So what I did here, so we're not going to have this one. I will need to move Konrad somewhere, but I will talk to him about that. So we're going to
Ja
have,
rozmawiałam z Konradem.
yep,
Ja rozmawiałam z Konradem i Konrad się pytał, czy jak coś, to może się dopisać do nas, więc do
yeah,
Marleny i
and
do
we will do
Zuzy.
that. Yeah, we will do that. Okay, so I
Okay.
can do it now. Could you talk to him? So we'll put Konrad here.
Okay.
And we'll get rid of him here. Okay, I hope he will not be angry. Nice. Okay, let me just get rid of this one. So just this one. Okay, so we have nine groups now. Some of them have 4 students, some of them have 5 students. It's okay. What is good about the groups is that they are cross-national. So we always have at least 2 Polish students and at least 2 Erasmus students, which will make your projects even more interesting. So the groups are set for now, and we're sticking to these groups. And now, based on that, what I did is I created channels. I created channels for you. You probably see only your own channel, but I created 9 for 9 groups, and only people who are in a given group have access to this particular channel. And as of today, until the almost the end of this semester, you are going to work partly in those channels. You will be able to communicate in those channels, meet in those channels, but also have materials in those channels. So this is for you. Marlena, no worries about Konrad. I will put him in the right channel later on today. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. And now to give you more ideas about the project. So I called it, for now, I called it Youth Space, but we can change the name at any point. The timeline for now is as follows. Today is October the 29th, and we have step 1, which means that we will make some kind of quest. You will do it later on. Then next time we'll conduct some needs analysis for our group. I will obviously help you with that. I will give you some input data, and then you will work in groups. And then on November the 12th, we'll do the most important part, that is the planning. And you will do all of it in class. So I'm not expecting you to work after class. Obviously, you can, stay in touch, but you don't have to do anything outside of class. So that is the timeline for now. Probably November the 12th will not be the last planning stage, because it usually takes longer than we think. So we might need 1 more week for that. And then in December and in January, you will make your presentations. For now, we have 9 groups. So probably 3 days will be enough, but let's stick to the 4, which means that you will present the results of your project. Now, what is the project about? As I said, it is about a youth space. So I want you to think of a space for young people that could be created in, where you live, in your communities. Now, because you come from different countries, you need to think of a universal pattern, something that can be adopted in 2 different countries, in 2 different communities, but still having some similarities, because it's going to be a space for youth. If it's a club, if it's like, the idea of what it is, I'm leaving it to you. Now, to help you working on it, I would like to make a distinction between 3 types of education. That is formal, non-formal, and informal. What we're in right now is obviously formal education, which means that we're part of a system of education. For now, it's the system of education of Poland, but also the European Union because we have Erasmus students. So formal education is schools and universities. Now, non-formal education is any kind of education or training that takes place outside of schools or universities, outside of institutions. So it can be all day youth clubs, language courses, sport clubs. So you have a kind of institution, but it's not a formal education institution. And the last type of education, that is informal education, is kind of an idea which says that people sometimes learn when they don't know that they are learning. You can think about kids who are playing games or who are reading books or telling stories with their parents. And it's not any kind of, formal class, but they are still learning. Or it can be just you spending time with your grandmother or your grandfather, learning, helping them cook something special for Christmas. And it's also kind of informal education because you don't go to them to learn something actually, but to spend time with them. So we have those three types of education. And what you're going to focus on is most probably this and this, definitely not formal education. So some kind of space for young people in which they will also learn something. It can be non-formal, so it can be kind of, youth club, or it can be totally informal when they meet to learn to cook something. So the way we're going to start today is, first of all, to get to know each other in the group by, saying a few words about yourselves. But today, I want you to make a list of spaces for young people in your country. I mean, types of spaces for young people. So, where can young people meet? And I'm not talking about bars, okay? Or any kinds of, restaurants like this, but actually spaces for young people where they can meet and spend time. And make a list, or actually make two lists, one for Poland and one for the other country. You can add some names. I mean, in Polish or in Spanish or in French, and you can add some pictures if you have them available, and that will be the starting point for your project. Now, the things that we're going to do today and next week and in 2 weeks' time, when you put them together, you will be able to make a presentation to show the process of your thinking. So, our idea, our goal is to think of a model of a youth space that will fit to countries. That is our aim. Now, to do this, first, we need to have a look at what already is there to see, the good practices and the bad practices. Next time, we'll see what young people need. And then next time, we'll be able to do the planning. Now, good news is that there are no financial limits, okay? Because we know that young people can apply for different funds, also from the European Union. You can assume that you have as much money as you want for your project, okay? So money is not the problem here. First, we need to come up with an idea. So your job for today is to meet in those new channels and to introduce yourselves, and then to think about spaces for young people in your country and make a list. And once you are ready with that, you come back to the main meeting and you show it to me. So I'm stopping the sharing. Now, the trick is that I will not put you in breakout rooms now, but you will actually sort of leave the meeting and you will go to your group, to your channel, and you will start a new meeting in your channel. Okay? I will not go there. You are there only. You can always text me if you have a problem. Remember, you introduce yourselves and then you make those two lists. And then when you are ready, you come back to the main meeting. Use your channels to have all the data that you need for later presentation. Okay, is there anything that I need to clarify now? Or you want me to repeat something, for instance? Okay. If not, then good luck. Enjoy the time together. Okay. Let's say not more than half an hour. Okay. Half an hour is fair enough. Go to the channel. Okay. Click on the channel, join the channel, and then make a meeting there. Fingers crossed so that you don't get lost in virtual reality.
Do we need to close this call in order to?
Yeah, I think you will need to leave this meeting, or you can just click on the group in Teams and then join the channel. Okay, nice. Okay, see, you're leaving. You can leave the meeting. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just go to your channels. I will see it. Good. 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 I see it's working because I see that you have meetings in those groups. Okay. So information for those of you who are still here, you need to join the groups in those separate channels. Everyone is assigned a group. Everyone has been assigned a group. Okay, I see you're doing well. Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Okay. Did you manage to share some ideas about youth spaces in your countries?
We have in Spain.
Yeah.
We go to the parks when I was young, for example, in the parks, shopping center, in the what I would say, in the restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
cinema, concerts, always,
Mm-hmm.
sport fields,
Mm-hmm.
town squares, because in Spain there are a lot,
Yeah.
and for example, recreational centers, cafes,
Uh-huh.
and more, a lot of more things. For example, in Alicante, Valencia, in the beach,
Mm-hmm.
mm, museums, bowling alley.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Lucia, just I guess everyone is listening to what we're saying, just about the ideas you shared. So you probably like made a whole list of different types of places where young people go. And now I want you to put them like in two groups. One is places that young people sort of join and they don't change them. So it's those, cafes, restaurants, music clubs, museums. So these are spaces not only for young people, but they are generally accessible for everybody. It is just that young people like going there. And this is great to start with, but this is not the area of concern for our project. So you can put it at the beginning of your presentation, but what we want to focus on is the spaces that are designed and meant for young people only. But obviously, you can think of such spaces in parks, yes, or as part of some bigger community center or club. There can be a special space that is designated for young people only. Okay, so it's a great starting point. I see many more have just joined. So we're just discussing the examples you've come up with in your groups, and that you might have two types of spaces for young people. And our area of interest for the rest of the project will be the spaces that you can actually design and that are meant for young people only. Okay, yeah, it can be summer camps, absolutely. Okay, so you can think something that's like repeated, in the summer. The point is that for your projects in your groups, you will need to choose one thing that you want to design and one thing that you want to describe and one thing that you want to focus on. And the most difficult part is that it needs to be something that you can have in both countries. So like both in Poland and in Spain, or in Poland and Italy, in Poland and in France, wherever you come from. You need to think of a model, like a concept of a space for young people that will work in both locations. So that is like the most difficult part. What you did today was to make a list of all the places that young people go to. I hope you have them somewhere. Make sure you have notes in your channels, in your groups. You have files there. You can have everything there. You can have links, you can have pictures, you can have text. Collect all of this because at some point you will need to put it into one presentation and then present it to us. Okay? Remember that this project, this presentation is half of your final grade. And I believe that it'll be a lot of fun to develop because it is actually critical thinking and analyzing what your needs are, and hopefully at some point being able to take it to your hometowns, to your communities, and perhaps introducing your ideas, I mean, in real life, in reality. So, what we want to finish off with today is that young people have impact. Young people have agency. Young people are resilient and powerful. You can light the world. You have compassion, patience. You have everything that the world needs. Moreover, you can actually do things on your own. You don't need anyone else. Maybe you need the money, okay? But I told you that money is not a problem here. So it's just you, and we're going to structure your thinking. So you are already in groups. You are in multinational and cross-national groups, which will make it even more fun. I hope. I mean, the whole journey, the whole experience. You had a brainstorming session today. You analyzed what different places and spaces are available for young people where you live. Now, next time, we'll try to narrow it down. I'll help you do a needs analysis and come up with more specific examples and areas. And then we'll start working on a specific project. Remember, you don't need to do anything between the classes. Obviously, you can have some second thoughts. Obviously, you can stay in touch. Okay, this is the channels for you, but it's not a must. You can just think about, the ideas that you would like to develop, and I am always happy to discuss them with you. Now, we're going to stop in a second because I need to talk to two of you, and one is Martina. I hope you can stay, then we can discuss your email, and obviously Marlena as well, because you wanted to talk to me. Do you have any questions? If not, you are free to go and enjoy your evening. And I would like Martina and Marlena to stay to have a little chat. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.